New York was the 11th state to join the post-Revolutionary War Union of the United States. The colonial trappings of the New York-New England forests and mountains have been addressed in previous chapters. This appendix segment supplies some additional context and anecdotes that may repeat or supplement previous accounts of the North America's northeastern places and the personalities that homed and roamed these places. The 13 original colonies rapidly morphed into a larger nation of states as their early adopters eyed the lands and waters even further west, beyond the Mississippi and Ohio and Missouri watersheds. Their meeting with destinies will be reviewed in Book 2 of my Pioneer Trail Cowboys, Indians, and Pilgrims. The city at the mouth of the Hudson River was founded in 1624 as part of the province of York, a region which also included Delaware, New Jersey, and today's Vermont. New York as a colony, named after James, Duke of York, abuts New England, and so sometimes is equated to that same area in the northeastern U.S. However, Dutch was the nationality that imprinted itself first on the region drained by the Hudson River and its upstream tributaries. The Dutch imprint is no more. Today's commercial hub of the state of New York is a cosmopolitan world of hustle, bustle, tussle, and puzzle. There are so many facets to the history and geography of the lower Hudson Valley and Long Island. But here in this brief synopsis, I only share crumbs of a drama that built a massive city, an international phenomenon that still beckons immigrant asylum seekers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, criminals, and politicians. The Hudson River region attracted traders from Europe, including Dutch merchants looking for a shorter route to the Indies during the first decade of the 17th century. Christensen and Bloch began a fur trade in 1612 on Manhattan Island. Then a New Netherlands company established itself as the trading monopoly, extending from New York's Hudson Valley south to the Chesapeake Bay. The colony of New Netherlands itself emerged alongside the operations of the Dutch West India Company, counting at first about 30 families of Protestant Walloons settling on Manhattan Island at a place called Brooklyn and on Staten Island nearby. In 1625, Manhattan's fur traders and settlers were well put, while new opportunities for business attracted a trickle of adventurers and entrepreneurs up the Hudson Valley north to Fort Orange near Albany. Remember, this was centuries ago when the riverbanks sliced thick forests and brush and the mountains today called the Catskills. The mouth of the Hudson was by default Indian country until Peter Minuit, Director General of the West India Company, in 1626, bought Manhattan from the local tribes for goods that then were valued at about $24. Whether this transaction occurred in myth or fact is uncertain. A letter written by Dutch merchant Peter Schagenen to directors of the company stated that Manhattan was purchased for, quote, 60 guilders worth of trade, unquote, which is about $1,143 US dollars today. Anyway, as in the other colonial establishments up and down the east coast of America, the New Netherlands inhabitants increasingly had to compete for trade and land with the English, Swedes, other European settlers, plus the Indians themselves. War and massacres did happen in the 1600s. A wall built in Lower Manhattan to provide more reassuring protection to the settlers there is today memorialized by Wall Street. By 1656, about 120 houses and 1,000 people comprised what is now New York City. New Netherlands flourished on the Hudson River, while New Sweden took root on the Delaware River further south. The neighborhood was calm, only a short time, however. Peter Stuyvesant supported a Dutch fleet managed by the Dutch India Company to advance on the Swedish forts along the Delaware in 1655, and the colony of New Sweden was no more. Less than 10 years later, New Amsterdam, in turn, surrendered to an English fleet originating in the dominions of Massachusetts and Connecticut. The Dutch ruled no more, over lands granted to the Duke of York by England's Charles II. The Jerseys, east and west, suffered a similar fate.
American life is a life of contrasts, agitated, adventurous, almost feverish for men, melancholic and monotonous for women. It unfolds uneventfully until the husband announces to his wife that they have gone bankrupt. Then they must pull up stakes and begin the same life anew in a different place. Every American family thus encompasses two distinct worlds, one entirely material, the other entirely moral. However intimate the bond between husband and wife, one always finds between them the barrier that separates body from soul, matter from mind. Notes from Mr. Beaumont's Travels with Tocqueville in the United States in 1831.
Lower Manhattan, the historical birthplace of the city of New York, today is a port on an island that has essentially melted into the continent of North America. The Algonquin-speaking Lenape natives, or Delawares, scattered along the shores when ships appeared, gave away their animals' skins and land to merchants. Their fate, like that of other eastern U.S. natives, ferried many eventually to places far away, such as Oklahoma and Canada. The Dutch flag gave way to the English flag and eventually to the American stars and stripes. Towering skyscrapers dazzled visitors, even as the rest of the world slowly collected some of the city's riches and ideas. The twin towers of the World Trade Center in September 2001 collapsed, and thousands died. A reminder that our human creations may not stand forever. However, a new One World Trade Center built over the debris also established that men and women normally will pick up the pieces and build anew. The new building is the tallest skyscraper in the Western Hemisphere. Early in the 20th century, ironically perhaps, Iroquois Native Americans, initially mostly Mohawks, proved themselves to be skilled sky people, helping to create the city's unique skyline. High above the land that once was the hub of a foreign invasion of their country to the north and west, Mohawk citizens of Caughnawaga, New York, in the Mohawk River Valley, west of Albany, were among prized ironworkers to join a building frenzy in the 1920s. The iconic Chrysler Tower, George Washington Bridge, and other skyscrapers approached the realm of the Iroquois creation myth.
Above the ocean there was air. Birds, fish, and sea creatures inhabited this place that existed before the earth. There was also an island floating in the sky where the sky people lived happily. No one ever died or was born, and nobody felt sadness.